reading. I should have did more reading. I got it right this time, at least better than the first time. Tom Shattuck here with my friend Jay. This is the I should have did more reading podcast. We are on Instagram as well. I think it's I should have did, and we're on Twitter as well. I think that's I should have did.
I should have did more reading
On Twitter?
Like.
And Facebook,
Correct.
It's just type in I should have did more reading on Facebook. That will get you there. We have I should have did more reading.com. I don't know if there's anything there yet. You can give that a try, but at least follow us on Twitter to start with. That's I should have did at I should have did, and we'll give you all the information you need to know on what we're up to and when the next podcast is coming. We'll have pictures, and we're always screwing around somewhere, so definitely check it out. So, we'll get right into it today. We wanted to talk about people like icons, movie icons, and any icon really, who has an attribute that you wish you had. So, like, so I wrote a very bad screenplay in the. Did you ever read my screenplay?
I didn't. It's when you were concierge.
You did not
Army.
read my screenplay?
I don't think I did.
Jesus,
Yeah, I'd like to though.
Dick. I'm sure I sent it to you.
You did that with
Liddy.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, I wrote a screenplay in like 1998, and it is not good. But what we found is that there are two main characters. So I wrote a character who was kind of like me, and he wrote a character who was kind of like him. But our characters were like how we wanted to be. So my character was like great with women and like had all the best lines.
The antithesis of.
Yes, yes, exactly the opposite as I really am. Which is, I'm sure, something that a lot of people who write screenplays badly do. Is we write about how you would want to be. But so he was everything like I am not. Personality wise.
What was your character's name?
His name was Carter something. Carter something. I even had to find a like jerky waspy name or whatever that was. It's really disgusting. Was
it based off your experiences as a concierge?
If any of those experiences had gone well, yes.
Okay.
So I think we both
loosely based.
Yes, it was based. The vodka part of it was probably accurate, and I did work at a hotel. You're right at the time, so the people in the hotel were a lot like the people in the hotel. And that hasn't really changed. A lot of those guys are the same. And I was in my 20s then. I was more a pessimist. I will say cynical, like about women and things. I felt that all the women also had an agenda, and that they would happily dump you for any opportunistic whatever. And so. I think it's probably. I didn't invent being a brooding jerk in your 20s, but I played the part, especially, and then that was in the Gen X playbook. Although you weren't really a jerk, you were a.
Well, I don't know,
but you had a steady
Some
girlfriend
people may
way
say
early. Yeah. Well, you weren't. You weren't dark anyway.
Sure. No, maybe not. I was excited to summarize my feeling. Then I was pretty excited to be in Boston and to be on my own and all that stuff. It was all a lot of new stuff was happening. So sure, I guess I was a little more positive than I am today.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't want people to think that we're in despair or anything.
No,
we're going well. We're very lucky. We just need to get better.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And
that's the whole reason for this.
Yes, the whole thing is just to get better in different ways. Because we look at situations sometimes we've gotten ourselves into, and we said, I could have done something that made sure that this situation is not happening right now. Thus, I should have did more reading. Whatever. So anyway, we're talking about people who have attributes that we wish we had, and we both went right with movies. And you can start first, Jay, if you want.
Well, I picked Al Cervic. Al Cervic is the.
How did you know that's his name? By the way?
It has it on his golf bag, his large golf bag, I believe. Or actually, maybe I remember it when the billboard behind the golf course, the country club that he was playing at. This is Caddyshack I'm talking about. You remember there was a large billboard that said future home of Cervic condominiums. So anyway, I picked him because he is funny, one-liners, a bunch of one-liners that are classic today and unapologetic. But still successful at the same time.
We'll listen to a little bit of Al.
I think this place is restricted, Wank, so don't tell me you're Jewish. Okay, fine. I can maybe have a half dozen of those Vulcan D10s and set my friend up here with the whole schmear. Oh, this is the worst looking hat I ever saw. Well, you buy a hat like this, I'll bet you get a free bowl of soup, huh? Oh, it looks good on you, though.
So what we know about Al, and that's our classic so far, that's classic, obviously, Rodney Dangerfield, is that he's offensive. there's a victim usually in his humor.
Indeed, always.
Yes, yes. There's always somebody gets hurt.
Well, he never had respect, so
right. But it does remind me of you because usually when
take it easy.
When you do something funny, that there is generally there is a victim. Generally, and we can go through exactly some of those things. I don't want to scare the bleep out of people.
Let's talk about it first.
Well, also, and it's on PC. The stuff with Wang is Jewish and the whole schmear and all that stuff. But he does have cojones.
Indeed.
But most of the time in that movie, Rodney Dangerfield is shocking everybody on the yacht, in the golf club, on the fairway. He is offensive.
He says the worst possible thing at the best possible time. And I mean, I guess I sort of resemble that sort of approach when I tell my jokes. I want to make sure it's going to hit hard.
So you actually do have this attribute. You're just not the master of it yet. No. But you are actually, you're very capable of offending. There's no doubt about that.
I appreciate that, I guess.
Yeah. So what would you want to do? So you want to be more offensive?
Well, the way he's able to be successful at the same time. You can't go through life doing that. You can't go through life being that offensive. Or can you? Well, yeah, I guess if you're your own man, it's possible. But you always have to report to someone. You're always
not necessarily, Jay. I mean,
tell me a time what instance you think that you could be in a place where, I guess if you're a traitor.
I remember one time you said an offensive joke to a girl we both knew. This is 1995, and I said the same exact joke and got in trouble for it. And it was a un-PC joke. It was. Do you remember the joke?
I don't recall it.
It was the mace one.
Oh, that's awful. I saw in the way you presented, I guess, but
yeah,
I don't know how you presented it.
Go ahead and tell it.
I'm gonna have
get close to the mic.
I forget the actual joke.
The joke was something along the lines,
details.
And this is who cares? So we can say what we want. We're not sexual offenders. So the joke is something along the lines is you like I'll rate a G it a little more. You like making out with a girl essentially, but your eyes always sting, and then you realize that was the mace. So you said that, and I remember a girl at the front desk, very attractive. Just thinking, and there were two of them there thinking, you were just hilarious. So I tried it on two other people, but they're the same kind of people. They were wild, good time, young people. And they thought it was wholly offensive and making a joke of sexual assault, and that it was not appropriate there. Or I didn't quite have to go to human resources. I just simply copied your joke because it killed.
But I'm wondering what your face looked like when you were saying it. Was it straight-laced? And, I mean,
I had a leather zipper mask on. Is that why? Is that
could be the difference. It could be the difference right there. I'm not sure.
So, but that's the thing about like this, like Rodney Dangerfield, is that in this movie, and in that character, Al Cervic, he, although offensive, he gains a fandom through it. There's a certain amount of people that absolutely love it, which is actually kind of paralleled with the presidential race that we saw last time.
Oh, yeah, indeed.
Like, you can't act like that with that little amount of decorum and succeed in politics until that happened last year.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
But it happened in Caddyshack. It's the same thing. This guy, Rodney, he's the most offensive, the most inappropriate, but at the same time, the coolest. The whole movie is just Dangerfield being Dangerfield.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's an interesting character. He's a little sidebar. I worked at the Steppenwolf Theater for 10 years in Chicago. It's a great theater. And during that time, there was...
Tell you a rape joke there?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
During that time, Emmett Walsh, I don't know if you know him, but he's...
Of course. He was yes, you know him. He's usually...
He's the madman on a jerk that was shooting the oil cans. He was also Coach Turnbull, if you remember Back to School. So he was Roger Dangerfield's swimming coach.
He liked him.
Diving coach.
One of the few people who liked him.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yes. So I had the honor of talking to him for about 12 weeks while he was doing a show there. And we talked a lot about Rodney Dangerfield because I thought he was very interesting. And he had said that he got into the business a little bit later in life, and he was a pretty wild and crazy guy, really doing a lot of drugs and alcohol, but had the biggest hearts that you can ever imagine. Emmett Walsh, I think he's in his 90s. He was also a great man. He was in a lot of those movies as well.
Everybody would remember him. If you saw Emmett Walsh, you would know him the moment you saw the Google image search him.
Yeah, he was also, you got to remember the scene in Fletch where he's giving... he is giving Fletch a rectal exam. Moon River. He's a doctor in that. But anyway, I asked him to. The one thing that I regret not doing is I was going to get an old oil can and put a hole in it and say he hates these oil cans. And have him sign it. But the show ended and I never got a chance to do that. But anyway,
in The Jerk, he hates these cans.
That's right.
So there's another guy who very well could have been a person. The character in The Jerk. He was so aloof of all the chaos around him, so like stupid, but in his stupidity, he was protected by being afraid of what was actually happening around him because he was that dim. And that's not uncommon. That became more common in movies, like Dumb and Dumber is essentially they're too stupid to know,
ignorant and unable to see what's going on around him. Well, he was too concerned about his special purpose.
Yeah, that's right, though. But the ignorant, you're right. And you look at, like, Beavis and Butthead. They're ignorant the whole time. They're just morons. So they miss all this stuff. But there is a power in that. I mean, there are, like, really stupid people. If they have confidence, which the Jerk had, and you're really stupid, so you're dumb enough to not screw it up. So sometimes, if you're a smart person, you could screw it up and you can overthink it. We're really stupid people.
They can get through they can get through just as well.
Yeah. They're dumb enough to go up to the girl and ask her out on a date rather than think about it and strategize.
That's right, which is worse.
Worry about if I start to falter when I ask her and what if I muff my line and what if she doesn't like me and whatever. But if ignorance is bliss and it's powerful too. So if you can do that, if you can and that's the Jerk thing could also be a contender.
He's a classic actor as well. Who did you choose for your?
I chose, and we'll get back to more Rodney here as well. But I chose, I chose Ellis from Die Hard because he also has that. He is supremely confident. He is, and if I had that confidence, and he's aloof. He doesn't understand that 93% of everybody who meets him hates him.
So who's Ellis again?
Ellis is the guy who what's Willis's name?
Bruce Willis. Oh, McClane. John McClane.
So Ellis is the guy who works with John McClane's wife.
Okay.
Who's the slick guy who does the line of coke? I think he hooked up with a.
Oh, that's right. He walks into the office and he has he shoves away some coke on his desk and on his nose.
Oh yeah, and he is like total 80s, like total jerk, decadent, into status, into his money. He thinks. I mean, this jerk exists, and we've dealt with people like this, and they think like this guy thinks he's the best, and he's so. He should have gotten an Oscar for the movie. But
what happened to him on the movie?
Well, yeah. Well, that's the downside of because another personality comes into it who's even who is aware and goal oriented. Hans Gruber comes into it, who's goal oriented, and he's also got the gun.
That's right. I like Hans Gruber.
Oh, of course. So let's listen to a little bit of Ellis. Here we go.
Hey, babe. I negotiate $1 million deals for breakfast. I think I can handle this Euro trash.
Obviously, we can agree that anybody... First of all, hey, babe. If you're a guy who says, hey, babe, you're already a special kind of guy. And I negotiate $1 million deals for breakfast. He's already, like within 8 words, he's already in the elite of being a complete dickhead. I mean, this guy is not a person who belongs...
I do remember the when he was trying to negotiate with the
hold
Hans
on,
Gruber.
it's coming.
Oh, it is.
It's coming.
Excellent.
So, and if I just had some of that, I need some. I can't be. I just need a thimbleful because if you can't be that guy and have people not want to do physical harm to you a lot.
Hey, frequency talk, huh?
If you listen to me, he would be neutralized already.
I don't want neutral. I want dead. Hope I'm not interrupting.
What does he want?
It's not what I want, it's what I can give you. Look, let's be straight, okay? It's obvious you're not some dumb schmuck up here to snatch a few purses, am I right?
You're very perceptive.
So Ellis also doesn't realize that the person he's talking to, because he's such a sales guy, you know, and sales guys, they are masters, or they think they're masters of condescending, but they perpetually are condescending and patronizing. Hey, babe, you look great.
Have you worked with someone like that before?
Oh, I've worked. Oh, are you kidding me? You've worked in places with sales.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's awful.
A lot of them are wonderful. And my current employer doesn't have any of those. But in Jay's perspective,
Mine
employer
doesn't either.
does not have exactly. But totally. Oh my God, the DB aspect of these guys, it's incredible.
Can you state their full name?
And I remember one guy. This is a big sales guy, and it's so interesting how they don't listen. One guy came to me and condescended to me. It was whatever years ago, and I got invited on the big sales retreat. So we went, and it was on a boat, on this yacht that I since before this I worked as a concierge. I'd been on a couple times before, but anyway, he goes, "Hey, T-Unit, how you liking the boat so far? Pretty swanky, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's swanky." You know, I was at the bottom. I had the lowest occupation in this business, so I said whatever I needed. And he said, "Ever been on something like this before?"
Oh,
and I said, "Yeah, I've been on this one a couple of times." He's sweet. And so he walked away and he did his thing, whatever. And then later, he comes back to me. He goes, "Hey, dude, ever been on something like this before?"
Oh, come on.
Like, Jesus Christ. You like vacuous sales plastic piece of crap. You're not even like recording the stuff I say. Which is fine.
He's always on.
You have to have a thick skin to be in sales because you get so much rejection that eventually you have to stop being a human being.
I feel bad for them.
But they make some money.
Yeah.
But no, totally. Yeah. Totally. And I've had another, I could go on and on just with the stuff. There's some great sales guys who I've worked with too, some of them I've loved, who have been just fantastic. There was this guy who was so supremely confident. He never had to condescend or whatever. He was never doing that. He was just cool. He was so comfortable with himself that I remember he came in one day. Well, we'll say the CEO of the company, a woman, was bringing clients through like the vestibule or whatever near the entrance, and he came in his T-shirt, like a V-neck T-shirt, obviously hungover.
Oh, jeez.
With the shirt that he was going to put on over his. This guy used to go out and party big time with clients or whatever, in whatever. So he maybe spent an all-nighter or whatever, and the CEO said, "Hey, we'll call him Derek. Hey, Derek. Well, it was nice of you to put a shirt on today. I want you to meet like Canon, whatever, Acme Corporation."
Oh boy!
And this guy had no care in the world that his shirt wasn't on.
Wow.
And he looked in the eyes and totally confident.
Wow.
As if they were all out of place for having shirts on. And he like shook hands and he charmed them and they walked away all together and like, yeah, that guy.
That's the only response that he could do anyway. But I mean,
Yeah.
well done. And to pull it off genuinely like that probably is.
But I mean, I don't know if you just naturally, if you have that. I mean, he wasn't the most good-looking guy in the world. He probably could have lost like 25 pounds or whatever, but just total confidence.
Nice.
Total confidence. So it's,
Nice.
I mean, like that's Ellis.
I'd buy from him.
You what?
I said I would buy from him.
Yeah,
Someone who's genuine like that.
I'm sure,
Yeah.
and he probably that same confidence probably puts clients at ease. You know?
Indeed.
So, and Ellis from Die Hard has some of that.
Too much of it.
Yes. Yeah.
I watch 60 Minutes. I say to myself, these guys are professional. They're motivated. They're happening, i.e., they want something, huh?
I.e., how great is the screenwriting that somebody knew? The screenwriter of this movie, I don't know if it's Jonathan Demme or whoever did Die Hard. Somebody
I forget who it was. Yeah.
To use I.e.
I know. It's perfect.
You wonder if the people who constructed the language like put some words out there just so they could trap some people.
Oh, indeed. They probably just used somebody they work with the way they deal with people in the office. So it was probably one of the easiest characters to do. There's one in every office.
So there's more than one in every office. But there's certainly one. You're right. There's one in every office. in this case, there was just one of this guy. But
Yeah.
And the other thing is, like, when he says, "Oh, I watched 60 Minutes," he thinks that that's supposed to be impressing people.
Hans Gruber.
Yes.
Personally, I couldn't care less about your politics. It's none of my business. I figure you're here to negotiate. Am I right?
You're amazing. You figured this all out already.
See, that's the problem.
Clueless.
That, of course, that Hans is really intelligent and sees within, because this guy is so supremely self-confident, Ellis, he shows all his cards immediately. And he also thinks that he's a great condescender and a great wordsmith and a great thinker. He probably has like the Tony Robbins tapes, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Is that he's
You don't?
right? No, that he thinks that he's got this guy like charmed and fooled, but obviously he's a moron, and you know he's like just puttying this guy on Hans's hand.
Hey, business is business. You use a gun, I use a fountain pen. What's the difference? Let's put it in my terms. You're here in a hostile takeover. You grab us for some...
Now he's giving a presentation, you know, like he would during one of his sales.
He had a
pitches.
laser in a PowerPoint presentation.
You must have been in sales meetings before.
I have,
While people
yes.
are pitching you.
Oh,
and you're like,
absolutely.
Jesus. Oh, my.
Oh, you want to strangle someone. It's awful.
green mail, but you didn't expect some poison pill was going to be running around in the building. Am I right? Hans. Booby. I'm your white knight.
I must have missed 60 minutes. What are you saying?
The guy upstairs is things up, huh? I can give him to you.
Perfect.
Isn't that perfect? And the fact that when he said, "I'm your white knight," that was his wave. He's closing now.
Indeed. This is the time. I think this is the point where he realizes that he's in way over his head.
Moments later, it's interesting that these guys, because people do want to kill them all the time. You're right. There is a danger sense that does show itself.
Hey, John boy. Ellis?
Of course, he's winking at Hans the whole time.
Now listen, John. You give me a few minutes to try to talk some sense into you. I know you think you're doing your job, John, and I can appreciate that, but you're just dragging this thing out. Now look, no one gets out of here until these guys can talk to the L.A. police, and that just ain't gonna happen until you stop messing up the works. Capiche?
Capiche.
Ellis, what have you told them?
I told them we were old friends and you were my guest at the party.
Ellis, you shouldn't be doing this.
Tell me about it. Huh?
Anyway,
let me get this straight. You want to emulate him? Or is that, or just a thimble? You said you want just. I
would like a thimbleful of the brass cojones.
Yeah, he does.
That he has, but just a thimbleful. For instance, like I'll go to. This will be happening shortly, probably. There'll be a holiday party at work, and there will be people there who I don't really know. Some of whom are fairly high positions. You know, we're separated in floors. And I should go up to them, introduce myself, say hello, and I'm Tom Shattuck, and I work upstairs, yada yada, and engage and smile. Nothing that I didn't do as a concierge, forced to do, but I won't do that because I'm nervous. I got as my friend used to say, I have the seawall in between me and somebody else, and it's like not me. I don't go over and say and hold court over people. Hi, damn glad to meet you.
Yeah, right. But it's interesting because I don't like that either. The networking part of any job to me is the worst part of the job. It's you see so many people changing the way they are when they become in that situation and being different, and it doesn't seem right, doesn't fit them or whatever. I was never like that, but I was never comfortable also just approaching someone in that sort of business arena. It's just not something I enjoyed over the course of the years.
But you do approach people in arenas. So
if we're out and we're having a great time somewhere at a party or at a pub or something with a bunch of friends, that is never a problem. Has never been a problem. I enjoy that. But
so every other fourth leap year or so, we'll meet at a bar.
Yes, that's correct.
And usually, if you arrive first, you will have made friends with somebody.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, people are very friendly. They're out to engage other people, and I like to do that from time to time. Sometimes I like to just stay to myself, but most of the time, I like to see what's going on out there within the room. But what about yourself?
I don't do this to me. I don't
you just
have,
sort of
I
stay
don't have
within
any
your
Ellis.
circle of friends.
I don't have Ellis. The friends I've mistakenly or somehow accidentally made are my friends. I don't have any new ones. I don't know if people make at our age. Do you make new friends?
I don't know.
There's only so many. At this age, it would take somebody. It would take if we met a new person. It would take so long to slowly and carefully introduce them to how depraved we are. That you don't have that much time. We have kids and stuff. You got to do stuff.
Yeah, right.
So it's almost not worth it.
Correct.
So I can go with my wife and meet good and decent people and play the part for a while.
Right.
And say, oh, man, it's Sunday, whatever. Say, oh, man, I'd love to watch a beer and grab the game. And they'll say, oh, yeah, same here. He may actually mean have a beer.
Yeah.
I don't mean that. I mean have a lot of beers and watch the game or not watch the game. And just have a lot of beer. And like anything. In other words, I always put a fake. I would put a fake person.
Everybody does.
I guess so.
Yeah.
But so that makes it more difficult.
Well, and the only thing that is good for us now. You said that it's hard to make friends. Indeed, it is. But with our kids being in school, we're forced, and sometimes it's a great thing to meet other parents and to have the play dates and to do this and do that. So and they're not. They can become friends, but like you said, it'll take many, many, many years. And
yes.
I don't know if we have the time. We're running out.
No, yeah. It is, but also when you're meeting as now with our wives and things, I mean, they are trying to put, especially wives, wives they are out to impress each other generally.
The moms, the kids.
Moms, yeah. They want to, and for good reason.
Yeah, no, indeed. They want to make friends with the friends of the kids, and
yes,
indeed, yeah.
They want to be civilized.
They're much better than. I'll speak for my wife. She is much better than I am in that respect. I have a little bit of an issue just hanging out at a playground sometimes, dealing with I don't want to have the forced merriment and things like that. I don't like it sometimes,
No, yeah, I'm right there with you, and so and actually, I'll I don't mind the playground. I'm all for that. But I don't like to be trapped.
Yeah.
In a corner or with people or somewhere. I don't like to be trapped. I want to be able to get out.
Yeah, no, I've seen that.
Yeah, I mean, but it's just one of those things. You want your freedom. So,
indeed.
To be trapped in a situation, and that's why it comes down to just freedom. Just want freedom. And if somebody wants to talk for a long time about something that I'm not interested in, and I'm just pretending to, like any time where you could, if you were magic, be able to freeze everybody and walk away. I mean, I would use that almost always.
It sounds like a Twilight Zone episode, but I'd love it.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to go to another person here. I know that we have. We can go back. We'll do some more Ellis and some more Rodney. But here's another guy who makes the most out of every situation, and whose mind is nowhere near where it should be. So, for instance, there is disaster or heartbreak or trauma or some kind of horrific situation developing, but he doesn't see that. And actually, our friend Jim, who the trolley tours...
Jim Lazan?
Yes. I didn't use his last name.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Nobody remembers. So, our friend Jim Lazan, who does the trolley tours down in Richmond?
Asheville, North Carolina, yeah.
Jim's a perfect example of this.
Should we give his address now that we've...
Yeah. So Jim, this guy's a character, and he's awesome, and he's brilliant. And he always has been. I found him first, and then Jay took him from me. But Jim, I always noticed that when I knew him, he would just do crazy stuff, and it didn't matter about the situation. He didn't, if it was a serious situation or a non-serious situation, he didn't care. He saw every situation as a chance to be on stage. And so, like, things when we worked in a hotel together, if we were slammed and people were yelling at us, Jim would walk through with with all the PBX phones in his arms, like walk by us and things. No. He didn't care. Everything was an opportunity to do his own thing. When he came to us on a Friday night, we needed booze or rum or something, and Jim came to my house dressed in a gorilla suit with rum, and then he dropped the rum and broke it. And then he did gorilla suit dance, but we weren't pleased, of course.
No.
But I mean, that was the kind of thing. He was all about entertaining at any time.
He was a great character. He had stayed with us on numerous occasions in California and in Denver and in Chicago, and we witnessed firsthand some of his antics. There was one time.
We should plug his business. Actually,
yeah, absolutely.
I don't know what it's called.
It's called Zoom Tours, and it's in Asheville, North Carolina. We should maybe have him on as a guest sometime. He's a great character. But it was Fleet Week in Chicago, where all the planes fly overhead and the Blue Angels and things like that. He constructed a 10-foot rocket made out of a cardboard, and painted his bike yellow and put Acme on a side of the rocket, the red rocket. We went down to Indiana and got some smoke bombs, and all we did, and there's millions, there's about 1 million people along the lakefront, and all he did was ride along the lakefront with the rocket going off down the middle of the street and just screaming his head off. And then he would get off, and my wife was the reporter, so she would interview him in front of people, and they would ask about why are you doing this, and he would say that he failed the drug test to become a Blue Angel, so that's why he's on his bicycle. But that's just one of many stories,
and that's all just performance art because he had to amuse himself. Those are the things that amused him. So in a lot of this, like the return on investment for the rocket could not have been good, And he also, I remember one time he had a VW bus, of course, and so he built a paper mache nose for it, and it took him days, and he had to go find all the stuff to make it, and he would travel all around, and we drove all around the financial district in Boston with his stupid thing, and the car made all sorts of crazy noises, and everything was a performance.
And he continued doing that and never deviated from that himself.
Yes, and now he's made $1 million doing it. And yes,
at least
the stuff to amuse him, he's made $1 million on, and we have not.
So they created, they created one of the. It's actually what's called the #1 attraction in Asheville, North Carolina. This tour, the Purple Buses, that do a comedy tour, and they have beer cruises on the bus, not cruises, but beer rides, and then they take you to local breweries, which Asheville's a pretty amazing city, and having that bus tour is pretty amazing. But
so there's a guy who shouldn't have did more reading. He did all the reading he needed to do, and he made a life out of it. Imagine that. Talk about the American dream.
Yeah, he's doing very well, and he has a child and a couple of houses.
Yes, and he always, by the way, always had beautiful girlfriends because he was confident. Though to some seemingly crazy, to dumb people they thought he was crazy. I never thought he was crazy. I thought he was brilliant. But he was confident, and he was the most fun human specimen within 30 miles at anywhere he went.
Yes, and he was. We need to say that he met this great girlfriend, and who just sort of enhanced what he did, and they were like a team, and together they created that business and did very, very well. So they're very, very lucky to have all that, and we miss him, and hopefully we can have him on soon.
Are you jealous of his success?
Not at all. I am very lucky.
Are you envious of his success?
So I'm not envious either, but I do. I guess I maybe slightly disappointed in myself.
Good.
I think I know that I could do something like that, or in some capacity, not in that business, but something. That's it. I am very happy for him, and
yes.
I don't get envious or jealous of people. I just don't. I know that if I want it, I need to do it. I don't think I've done the things I need to do to get there, and so it's on me. I'm very happy for them.
I'm jealous and petty. That's what I do. Not in Jim's case, not with Jim, but generally I like to be jealous and petty.
Good for you.
Of success, and hold on to the hate. So this is our version of Jim in a different way. This is Johnny from Airplane. So Johnny from Airplane is one of those guys who, no matter how dire the situation, uses that to amuse himself. He doesn't care. And I think that's fantastic. And that is an attribute that it's a much more rare attribute. A lot of these people are probably in sanitariums or whatever the new term for sanitarium is. So here's a little bit of Johnny from Airplane.
But he's an experienced Air Force pilot who flew during the war, so there's no cause for alarm. Henshaw, take over.
What kind of plane is it?
Oh, it's a big, pretty white plane with red stripes and curtains in the window and wheels, and it looks like a big Tylenol.
Chief, this weather bulletin just came off the wire. Johnny, what can you make out of this?
This? Well, I could make a cap, or a brooch, or pterodactyl.
Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit amphetamines. Johnny, how about some more coffee?
No thanks.
Chief, these reporters won't leave without a statement. How much longer?
Stryker, that plane can't land itself. It takes a pilot who can handle pressure. Ease off, Rex. He hasn't flown for years. It's not his fault. Could happen to any pilot.
It happened to Barbara Stanwyck.
Push him too hard. He might break. Gotta remember who you're dealing with.
Here, Heath, Jared, there's a fire in the bar.
It's getting thicker.
And Leon's getting larger.
Look at this. Passenger certain to die. Airline negligent.
There's a sale at Penny's.
Come on, man.
Classic. I love it.
How awesome is Johnny?
Don't think that they make movies like that anymore. I mean, those are great. All these '80s movies mostly, but
Johnny, the actor, left us early, unfortunately.
Because that's Airplane, right?
That's Airplane.
Airplane, not Airport. Airport is another series.
Well, that spawned Airplane.
Oh, it did.
Yeah, it was Airport 77,
parody
right?
of that. That's right. I remember that.
Yeah, so that had all the airline disaster films. Could you imagine?
I watched those. Yeah, those are great.
Yeah, my mother loved those for some reason. Some weird reason. I don't watch any disaster films.
No, not anymore.
So let's think. So we've got 3 good examples so far, and of course Johnny, the guy who can make something happen, make something the most out of inappropriate situations. So, is there leadership skill? Do you have leadership skills?
I people say I do. Yeah,
those are your trembling underlings. Usually?
Yeah, no, I think that. I mean, I don't have a fancy approach to it. I'm clear when I'm managing people. I'm clear about what I expect of them. Very clear, and I give them trust to do so. And the good ones, the great ones, take that and don't take advantage of it and do it, and that's it. And they're left alone, and they appreciate that.
This is that's very HR safe of you.
No, it's a simple strategy. It's just. Really
Would you prefer working with people or working alone? And your employer will not hear this.
No, I. It's challenging working with managing people because of all the different personalities, and people are people, and some of them are difficult and unreasonable, but most of them are great. But
how fun must it be just to be an employee?
Yeah.
To be employed,
punch in, punch out,
punch in, punch out. Think management's a bunch of a-holes that don't know what they're doing.
Yeah,
you know, you can play rebel in the office, like I don't like push back a little bit and feel good about yourself. Yeah, and I told Watkins, I'm like, well, maybe if you know a better way to do it, maybe you should do it. And like, Jesus. And bitch and moan about the last year's Christmas party was so much better. You know?
Yeah, no, it would be nice not to have to deal with that. I tell you, managing people is very challenging, and it'd be nice to shut it down at 5:00 and shut the cell phone down. What did we do before cell phones? What did we have to? We took the train home, and then how did they get in touch with us? Leave a message on a voicemail?
Check the answering machine, which is very exciting. And then maybe there'd be somebody would have a funny message. Yeah. Hi, this is Tom. Just kidding, we're not home. Leave us after the beep.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Believe it or not,
it's right.
George isn't at home.
How good was that?
I had one of those messages, I'm going to admit to you right now.
Yours was good.
It was good. Would you like me to say it?
Yes.
This is a little embarrassing.
Yeah.
Thank you for calling Jerome and Dana.
Get more into it. We're more into it on the
We are not home. Still leave a message after the toner. Sorry, Dana.
Great. That message
was awful.
That message was great. That was a great message because, everybody's disappointed when they get that after the third ring or whatever. It depends on how you said it.
Indeed, yeah.
After the third ring.
But
I miss messages. Now, it's so funny how things have changed. Because back then, remember, it was exciting. When it blinks, you get home. Oh, my God, maybe Tom called. Or maybe there's a chance it's an ex-girlfriend from 11 years ago. Or who knows who it was. Possibly a prospective employer calling and saying, hi, this is Gail from Human Resources here at Acme. I just want to let you know that we did go over your application. We were hoping that maybe to have a chat with you. You could come in, and all the excitement that could be there was awesome. And I don't even remember if there were junk messages. Were there?
I don't think so. No.
But now, I mean, you were thrilled. It's like, oh my God, I got this awesome. I got this message. Like, Tim's calling. He's going to be in town and wants to drink beers or wants to go out or somebody has Sox tickets or even. It was the biggest thing in the world. And now, if somebody leaves a message, you're like, what an a-hole.
Well, now a lot of them don't leave messages because it's.
I don't leave messages.
I know.
My wife yells at me.
The caller ID is the message. Hey, I called.
Yes. Yes, and hey, now I have the problem to see who you are beforehand, and now you know more how I feel about you because I'm not going to answer. There's a chance that I'll text you back and at least give you that, but it is not worth, no matter what I'm doing right now, and none of us answer the phone very often. Actually, we call each other. I guess.
Yeah.
But generally, now you know that the person who's looking at the phone and sees your name, nothing is worth talking to you. Doesn't matter. Like whatever they're doing,
Text it. Yeah.
Whatever they're doing is better than talking to you. And I agree with that. I have some people who call me almost every day, and I would never answer, and I don't get it. Like they're calling and leaving. You left a message. What in the voicemail area? That is the most.
To use my minutes? No.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost well. That was a good. That was interesting back when you had limits,
exactly.
But now, like, who would do that? Who cares?
I know, yeah. No,
voicemail. I mean, texting is wonderful. It was one of those things when it first started happening. I thought, man, it's like stupid. Why am I doing
Can't live
this?
without it now.
But it is good, although there's no context with texting. So you can get in a fight with somebody because of what you think is the context of their texting.
Oh yeah, easily.
And they'd be like, mother, and I think it happens all the time.
Well, that's what the emoticons. What are they called?
Yeah,
For. Yeah, emotion. Yeah, whatever.
But those also can cause.
Oh yeah, no. It's email is the same thing. I mean, you have to be so careful when you're sending those out, and you have to. What I usually do is type out the body of the email and then fluff it up afterwards before I send it with whatever, with regards, sincerely, or thanks you very much, or whatever it is, just to make sure that it comes out the right way. You have to set the tone, say it, and then close it out with an email or even a text.
Are you
sometimes.
an exclamation point guy?
Yeah, no.
I do. I am.
Yeah, I'm sure you are.
I do. Yeah, I am. I want to be loved, and I have a problem with people, by the way, who then say best THP. Like Thomas Henry Powell, but they just give their initials.
Oh yeah,
like I'm known as that.
Yeah, so I know. Trying to be clever.
Yeah, THP. It's best. It's like F off.
I know. It's interesting.
And no. But I use exclamation points just to make sure everybody knows.
Drive the point home.
Well, and everything's happy and good. Hey, don't worry, don't pay attention over here. We're good over here, and I'm thrilled. I'm nice and simple. I'll notice. Did you lose a couple of pounds? I'm that kind of person who'll notice.
That's nice for you to say. Speaking of losing a couple of pounds.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
You're
fat. Well, I'm a fat.
Well, yeah, I got about 20 extra pounds, so I'd like to get rid of.
What?
25, maybe.
Yeah, I would. I mean, Jay, if you go to a doctor, they're going to tell you you've got like 50 probably. So we'll begin the home stretch here with our action items, Jay. You said you liked being a manager, so this is important. Our take-home items. One thing we're going to do is we were talking about being fat. So I'm definitely really fat, and you are somewhat fat.
I could stand to lose about 25 pounds. Yes. More, you think?
No, well, let's say I'm right around 300, so I would say that I will be cool I would be fine being 235 as a rule. That would still make me overweight, but I think that's fine.
Yeah, but you're tall, so that's
yeah. So that would be fun.
I'm at 222 right now. I weighed myself as we were waiting there. I would love to be able to get down to 190. That's my goal. 190.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, between 190 and 195 would be great.
Okay.
Do we want to? I mean, do I suspect a challenge here?
I don't know if that's fair.
Yeah. I mean, well, we can do a percentage.
Well, no, I would rather do the actual pounds.
Yeah, but you kick my ass every week.
Well, maybe. I mean, but then get fatter. And then reverse it.
Give me a couple weeks, then we'll see.
So, but we'll we'll weigh ourselves, and we should do that. That's the kind of thing you'd want to do on Instagram, I think. So we'll do that on Instagram. And then we do have an event coming. If you want to join us, we're doing the Assault on Mount Hood And this is, I mean, if you happen to be in Melrose, Massachusetts, I realize that you could be in Saskatchewan when you hear this, and it won't matter. But we're going to be doing this race. It's not really a race. That's a problem. It's this horrific, hard run uphill.
Yeah,
it's going to be painful, and then you drink 30 beers afterwards. So, what is the point?
Well, it's not a race where you're looking for the best time. I mean, there are inclines, 45-degree inclines. I mean, it's just crazy difficult. We did it last year. It was great. It was cold.
It is a race if you're looking for one of your worst times, though.
You can achieve that possibly.
Yeah,
indeed.
Yeah, so that is coming up. We should put that on Facebook that we're going to do that as soon as we do that. And that's Facebook. Look up I Shoulda Did More Reading on Facebook, and look for I think it's at I Shoulda Did on Twitter, and it's probably the same thing for Instagram. But if you find us on Facebook, it's all there. And then we're working on the website and yada yada. Oh, you should. I'm not sure where you're listening to this. Maybe it's YouTube, but sign up for us on iTunes. It is iTunes.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one that comes with Apple. And anything else we need to say?
Instagram, I believe, is I Shoulda Did More Reading.
Oh, is it the whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Twitter also looks like that is the I Shoulda Did More Reading. From what I was just taking a peek at it right now.
Yes.
So, and I don't know what's going on with the website right now, but I know that we're working on that. So,
and if you have any questions at all, feel free to send us an email to I shoulda did more reading at gmail.com. I shoulda did more reading at gmail.com. You can ask us anything, and we'll be happy to, even to show ideas. We have a framework for what we're going to be doing, what we're going to be talking about. But if you have any other ideas, we're happy to do it. Or if we do want to hear from podcasters, other podcasters. We'd love to have podcasters on our podcast to see what people are doing and talking about out there. Because this whole thing, the whole theme of our show here is just getting better, learning, getting better in all in every way is not a theme exclusive to us. People are having conversations out there, and some real exciting stuff happening out in the podcast world. And we'd love to talk to those guys. So please say hi to us. Let us know what's going on. And if you guys want to join us, we're happy to join you. And that is it for me. Jason, anything you want to know?
I'm very excited about it. So so we will report on our reduction in weight weekly. Is that what we're going to do?
If it is a reduction, yes.
All right. And then
there's got to be some way to track it. There's got to be a way to have an app that goes into Facebook or somewhere where people can see the lines going up and down. You were doing it. You did a graph.
Well, that was a spreadsheet though. That was.
Well, you could probably screenshot or something.
Yeah.
There's a way. This exists somewhere.
Yeah, we'll look at that and we'll get it on there.
All right, everybody. It is I Shoulda Did More Reading podcast. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. We'll see you in a couple days.